Hey everyone, Darren here on Monday, March 23rd in the morning. Before we start, let's just take a minute and look at the legal disclaimer. As you know, I'm compelled to post a disclaimer with every video. Okay, with that, let's move on to the chart. And this is a weekly chart of the euro versus the US dollar. As we can see, last week was a pretty wild week for the euro after closing right on the dead lows the week before. So on this week, where we closed at 104.88, the euro had a powerful reversal back to the upside, alleviating what amounts to what was a very oversold condition. And this was basically spurred on by some Fed-related news, which the market used as an excuse to bounce back the euro back into the bands here. So you were more than two standard deviations away from the mean, and as is usually the case, when you get that oversold, you tend to sort of snap back in to within the volatility bands. And that's what really happened last week. We tagged again that 110 level on that Fed-related news and closed at 108.25 for the week. Looking really at the picture, we're still on the wrong side of the super trend, and our bars, we've been on red bars. We have a small green bar this week, but still under the midline, that yellow midline here. So much ado about nothing. Given that it's Monday, this week's bar is still very tiny, so very small range of for price so far. Again, the composite remains below the pink line, so negative. The trend filter still has the blue dots riding the red line, so still negative as well. Our relative strength gauge here is above the midline, but that again is very much in comparison to the very weak price action in weeks prior. So it's not surprising to see that a little bit higher, but our intermediate term momentum still has a reading of -1, so still negative. So in the big picture, still negative on the euro, although with that bounce, we could conceivably see some sideways action in the coming weeks. The euro would have to exceed the previous week's high, which stands at 110.25, to get any upside momentum come into it. Otherwise, we're really gonna trade within really that bar. So 104 to 108 area, and just chug along and go sideways before the euro decides which way it wants to go next. Again, should we go and break the lows of last week, which are 104.70, that would bring additional downside momentum into the euro. So by and large, really here, still negative on the euro, albeit we seem to be looking at some sort of a sideways consolidation period in this week and going forward a little bit. Again, these are really our markers. We would need to exceed this big candlestick here, either on the upside or the downside, to have any power and meaningful movement, further movement. Otherwise, we're just going to sort of trade, within that band and within that range. I will update you on a need-to-know basis, and certainly towards the end of the week. Meanwhile, take care.